full page?
No, you're going to carry me again today. That's Corey Philpott carrying the ball and hopping over one tackler. And Philpott using that blazing speed to the outside. Brought down by a former teammate, Tracy Gravely. Gravely on the outside leading the CFL in tackles with 60. And there's Dave Ritchie, the former head coach of the BC Lions. And he's running the defense for Montreal.
This is a great guy. He had an opportunity to talk with him before the game, and he's just excited. I mean, he's been in Montreal a number of times before, prior with the Alouettes and the Concords, and that is one of his key players right there that he can base this defense on, Grant Carter.
You know, it says a lot about a coach. We were talking to them when the Lions came out, and just about every member of the Lions came over to embrace Dave and to wish him well, and I think that speaks volumes of the respect that Dave Ritchie has around the league. There's Ron Williams with the carry. As again, it's Philpott and Williams sharing the load, and quite a 1-2 tandem for the Lions on the running game.
Like you say, Williams is the load. He's in there at about 210 pounds.
Well, they list him at 210, but
they list him at 210, but he's cheating a little bit on that. He's about 230.
Has 5, 2nd and 5. BC close to the 55, and they try the reverse. This is Ronald Williams coming around and got outside, turned the corner, and down to the Montreal 40. So they continue to pound it out on the ground as Williams follows the right guard, Jamie Terrace.
The old Statue of Liberty play. Damon Allen's going to come back, set quickly, force it, get the defense to react. Now this is where this Montreal speed goes, all toward the fake. Then he hands it off to Williams up underneath, makes a good break to the outside, loses containment. Gain tackle by the Montreal Alouettes, but not before a big first down, and keeps this drive alive for the BC Lions.
Already Williams 45 yards rushing. Philpott has chipped in 23. And now Allen goes to the air, and coming back for the ball is Ted Alford. Nice catch by Alford, and he's brought down by Irv Smith, one of the toughest corners in the league. But Alford's been impressive of late for the BC Lions, and he's won a job at the wideout position.
5'9", rookie season. Now watch the move that he makes. Damon Allen throws this ball behind, makes a great adjustment to it as Smith does not pick up the ball. Alford does. Now he does a little spin around move and picks up an extra 4 or 5 yards.
Irv Smith, the two-time All-Canadian, but Ted Alford has really opened some eyes in BC and given them another offensive weapon. And now Montreal jumped offside. We'll find out if they're drawn, and you can see at the bottom of the screen Alford and Irv Smith jawing, and Irv Smith kicked Alford, and that's why another flag has flown. So they've already got something going. Smith isn't usually beaten and took exception to Alford making that last catch.
Well, you get out there one-on-one, and it is two individuals that are going at one another. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, and you don't want to talk about it and get somebody in your face after the fact. And there's concern on that guy's face, Bob Price, is the fact that his team is losing some discipline out there.
Offside, Montreal, number 54. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Montreal, number 21. First down.
So Carter offside, and then the unnecessary roughness call against Irv Smith, and Bob Price can't be happy about that because the ball ends up on the 3-yard line, and it's 1st and goal BC. Full house backfield. And the give up the middle, and that's big Sean Millington down to the goal line, but not in. Scott Miller in the pile, making sure he didn't cross the plane.
Sean Millington coming to the BC Lions last year, played 7 games, 318 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns. He already has 2 touchdowns on the ground this year. That's 2 more than Corey Philpott.
I'll still remember how Dave Ritchie used Sean Millington against Baltimore in that Grey Cup game a couple of years back, pounding it out, and he'll get in. Sean Millington crossing the line, and the BC Lions have a major and the lead.
Terrific explosion up front by this offensive line. Those guys, as I said, they've been set together here these last 6 games, and they are really playing well. The addition of Hendrickson at left tackle has really solidified this offensive line. But look at the right side. Jamie Terrace calls to the center. Todd Furtick gets a good kick out block, and then the big powerful fullback Millington, all he does is drop that head, use those big strong legs, and gets it over the goal line.
Yeah, Jason Bryant filled the hole, but that's a load to stop. Millington, 6'2", 225, out of Simon Fraser University, with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. I want to clarify something earlier. I said the BC Lions have led in every game this year. They haven't necessarily scored first, but have led in every game, and they lead again here with 34 seconds to play in the first quarter, and a flag down after the play. And this time it's going against BC. Let's see if we have a disqualification here.
Major foul, rough play, disqualification, BC number 22.
That's Ronald Williams. And Joe Paopao has suddenly lost one of his main weapons.
That look right there on Joe Paopau's face sums up exactly everything that's happening. You go in there and you score, you have some success, you're getting the ball into the end zone, and then a guy like Williams, all he wants to do, loses control, loses his discipline just for that minute. Now he's the valuable product that he is in the backfield is missed, and he goes to the locker room.
Former Clemson Tiger showing too much of the eye of the Tiger there, and he's finished for the afternoon.
This guy came in, he was the first 1,000-yard rusher that Clemson had 1990 ACC Rookie of the Year. He comes in there with all the credentials. You just got to be able to maintain and keep your composure.
Well, the plus side is you've got Corey Philpott, who looks like he is back on his game today, but the Lions like Williams. They like the tandem, and they like the fact that Williams was pushing Philpott, but now it's Philpott's game the rest of the way.
I think it would be different, Chris, if like Williams was not on the roster and Philpott was there and he's trying to work hard in practice. But when you can use him, Philpott, and Millington all in the backfield, you keep just substituting those guys in and out. Sooner or later, you're going to start pounding on this defense of Montreal and have the success that you just had. The final thing, get the ball in the end zone, score some points.
Oh, here's another look at the touchdown as Millington powers his way behind Terrace and Furtick for the score.
Damon Allen just counters out, and this big fullback just gets that power going. He doesn't have to go very far. But Jamie Terrace and Todd Furtick off that right side make that play happen.
Well, because of the penalty, Julio Caravetta has to kick off from his own 15. Both Caravetta and Louis Pasaglia, Simon Fraser grads, asked me to mention to all the fans in BC to get out to the Shrum Bowl next week. UBC and Simon Fraser are playing next Friday night in that annual classic. Here's Mike Pringle. And because of the penalty and because of the return, great field position. Sean Millington with the hit on Pringle. 27-yard return, but Montreal will start from the Lions side of center field.
Important for Tracy Ham to come out on the field with this offensive series and establish at least some possession drives, getting some first downs out there, running the ball inside, using Pringle and all of his talent and that big offensive line up front, then being able to throw the ball to the inside to Climby and Armstrong.
Clock running with a dozen seconds to go in the first quarter, and Ham with a wide open receiver underneath. That's Jacques Climby, and he has a first down for Montreal at the 36 with 2 seconds left. Andre Strode with the tackle, and they'll get one more play in this first quarter.
Jacques Climby feeling much more at home right now, being back at the slot. At the initial part of this season and in training camp, they had him lined up as a wideout. But over the last probably 6 weeks, 7 weeks, he has moved back inside to his familiar slot back position and has been very productive.
Climby already has exceeded last year's numbers when he was a Toronto Argonaut. Here's Pringle up the middle, takes on the tackler and drives down to the 30-yard line. That was Tyrone Chapman who made the initial contact, and that's the end of the first quarter. Pretty good one, especially for the BC Lions, and they have the lead after 15 minutes. BC Lions felt they could establish the running game against the Alouettes, and the first quarter statistics will bear that out.
Joe Papa, when I had a chance to talk with him, he said, look, these guys are big, they're fast, and what I have to do is, I think if I can get these 3 backs that he had, now he only has 2 with Philpott and Williams, now he just has Millington and Philpott, is to rush the ball right at Alfred Payton and right at Grant Carter to see if they can play against the rush as well as they do against the pass. Particularly Alvin Payton. I think he thinks that Alfred I should say, is more of a rusher than being able to play against the rush itself.
So we start the second quarter with the Alouettes threatening at 2nd down and 4 from the BC 30. And again, in what has been typical of the Alouette season, Tracy Ham and the offense off to a sluggish start. 5-5 on the year, the Alouettes, after losing their first 3. In fact, their first win was against BC, and this play doesn't get off. And somebody didn't hear the whistle. That was Robert Davis, who came in with a clean shot on Tracy Ham, and the whistle had blown, and everybody on the field heard it except Davis.
We talked about the all-Canadian offensive line and having the luxury of dressing other people. Davis is one of those guys. He's an American. He's a backup. He plays as the nickel. The whistle's already blown. Davis sees he's got him. Now they're going to be a little scrap in there, and he's going to take Tracy down. Tracy throws a punch at him. First call's got to be against
Outside,
Davis.
BC number 13. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 7. First down.
Well, Tom, Europe was offside, so the Lions were blitzing at the time. And Robert Davis goes to the sidelines. Pleading his case, but everybody in the building heard that whistle, except him. Ham goes to work, throwing in the flat, and it's incomplete. Intended for Joey Yock, playing the wide out spot.
Tracy again trying to stretch this defense out. He's throwing the ball to the outside a little bit more than he had. His key receiver so far this year has been Armstrong, who's 7th in the league, had 39 catches coming into the game.
Ball at the 13, 2nd and 10. Here comes the rush on Ham. He steps up as an open man. Mike Pringle will score.
Be patient and it'll finally come to you, but the discipline or the lack of that we're seeing for the BC Lions helps again on this touchdown because their defense just does not stay and play what they need to play. They let Mike Pringle float all by himself in the flat. Tracy Ham has made a living out of finding guys open like that. Makes the major out of it.
First touchdown for Mike Pringle of the 1996 season. And for Ham, that's his 7th touchdown pass. And Derry Baker's joking because, well, the holder didn't come out. Well, Jock Climbey is slow to come out. On that drive, Ham was 5 for 8, 54 yards and a touchdown. And so they'll move it back 5 yards.
So that little smirk on Terry Baker's face is when John comes out and goes, hey, what are you thinking of? We've got to get this thing.
Well, he puts it through. And the Alouettes have reestablished the lead. Mike Pringle still doesn't look like the Pringle of a year ago on the ground, but he's useful out of the backfield as well, as he displayed on that last play.
Well, one of the knocks have been against him, Mike, is that Mike is not a good receiver out of the backfield. But Coach Bob Price jumped to his defense very quickly. He says he doesn't have bad hand. He just makes ugly catches.
33 catches last year for 276 yards to chip in along with that 1,791 that he added on the ground.
Yeah, he was a little busy carrying the mail rather than seeing if he could get it airmailed to him.
Oh, that's misplayed by Larry Thompson back in the end zone. Scoops it up and he'll run it out. Well, he might have been wise to just give up the single at that point because the Lions are backed up at their own 10-yard line. Wayne Provo led the surge downfield tomorrow. Doug Flutie and the Toronto Argonauts will try to extend their win streak to 9 as they play host to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And again, if you've missed it, Michael O'Shea signing with the Argos and will be involved in specialty teams, and I know the folks in Hamilton are really sore about that.
Well, the folks definitely, but I can guarantee you that Coach Don Southern was very much looking forward to Michael O'Shea being part of the Ticats in 1996.
I thought he had that Tiger Cat logo tattooed on him somewhere, and it's going to look different seeing Michael O'Shea in an Argo uniform. And I know, talking to some of the Lions, the question of the morning was salary cap. What salary cap?
That may be the case. The fact of the matter is, I think Don Matthews and what he's going to do in Toronto, he wants to build a winner, and he knows that Michael O'Shea is a key part as a Canadian linebacker. He doesn't have any really speedy wide receivers right now that can go out and get the ball done other than Cunningham. He needs to have one other guy that can complement him.
2nd and 5. Allen looking downfield, looking for Alford, and they continue the battle. Irv Smith and Alford, and Alford's won another duel because Smith interfered with him at the 50-yard line. Tell you what, nobody threw Irv Smith's way last year because it just wasn't going to bear any fruit. But Ted Alford, who's been shaken up on the play and heads off, is making some inroads.
That's Montreal number 21. First down.
That's 3 challenges. The long pass down the field. Then he got Irv Smith to kick him one time, gets a roughing penalty, and now he gets a pass interference call that creates a good situation. And here's that big Canadian offensive line up front. Take a look how they stand their ground and give Damon Allen plenty of time and vision to look downfield. Ball clearly released before anybody can get in touch with him, put any pressure on him.
First down, and Pimiskern has the catch, and that'll be close to another first down for the BC Lions.
Only his 4th catch of the season, but they thought, and Joe Paopao said, let's get to that short passing game, a quick release, slow down this defense a little bit, then that would allow a few things to happen. One being, if they're slow getting off the ball, this offensive line can get up into their chest, get in their face, and Corey Philpott and Sean Millington can have some success running the ball.
Got Frank Pimiskern on offense and Mark Pimiskern playing backup on defense and specialty teams. And there's a first down for BC as Sean Millington crashed through. Scott Miller brought him to the turf, but they'll move the yardsticks for the Lions. Just to finish the thought, you know, the Argos have lost 4 different Canadians, and O'Shea is needed, but when you look down the list of injured bodies in Hamilton, you know where there was even a greater need, and it has to be a real deflating fact that the leader of the Hamilton Tiger Cats for the last couple of years is going to be wearing blue this week. Larry Thompson, the intended receiver, and a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Douglas Kraft was covering Thompson. And that's Grant Carter with the helmet off on the limp.
I think he's a little upset of the cut block that he may have had. Chop block, exactly what I thought. But you're right, Chris. Again, we're going to finish this statement again about Toronto losing some key people as far as Canadians, Pierre Verchewal being one of them. But when you look at Don Southern in Hamilton, he's lost not only Matt Dunnigan, leader of quarterback, he's lost the 2nd string guy and the 3rd string guy, 2 wide receivers.
BC number 58. Repeat, first down.
That's Craig Hendrickson called. And so these 2 teams on course to continue their status as the most penalized teams in the CFL.
Take a look at the block here. Hendrickson just goes and he just makes a cut block on the outside. Nothing, that doesn't look like anything wrong to me on that play. If that was the call against Hendrickson, they did him an injustice there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it wasn't, as you saw Carter on the limp, if it wasn't on the other side of the field and they gave us the wrong number. Here's Allen, hit after he delivered the football, and Douglas Kraft has the interception. A flag flies after Kraft is taken to the turf.
I think what we're going to have, it's after the penalty, after the play, you're going to have Mike Trevathan very uncharacteristically come over and takes a shot, and I think he's going to get a roughing penalty after the play.
Second interception of the year for Kraft.
BC number 77, first down.
Yep, Trevathan after Sean Millington had wrestled Douglas Kraft to the ground. And Joe Paopao is calling his troops over to try and get them recomposed. We're just over 4 minutes into the second quarter here at Olympic Stadium.
That's the reason. Watch Grant Carter. He's right here. He's going to come in. But watch Carl Coulter. Watch his legs as he whips out on the play. The stunt's coming inside. Now watch the right leg, left leg start to flip out. Boom, he swings it around. Oh, he catches Grant Carter right in the thigh or the knee, and that's why he was hopping around after the play. The penalty was called on somebody else, but that's why Carter was having some problems.
First down give to Pringle, and again, the yardage tough for Mike Pringle. Dave Chaters is there, and BC Lions have done a good job defensively on last year's leading rusher in the Canadian Football League. Lions on the season are 5th against the run, and Montreal coming into the game the leading rushing team in the league. They've averaged 145 yards a game.
A lot of pressure on Dave Chaters. He's lost a couple of his buddies to free agency this year. One of them playing on the other side, Doug Peterson, and then Andrew Stewart went to Toronto also.
Tracy Ham airing it out, looking for Joey Yock, who'd gotten in behind the receiver, but Ham overthrowing the football. Man, that brings up 3rd and 9.
You were bringing up that picture at the opening, Chris, but when I look at Joey Yock, I tell you, the first time that I saw him in 1975, his dad was the coach of the Edmonton Eskimos, and he was just about running around in diapers. So my back starts to hurt quite a bit when I see these kids grow up. They're no kids anymore. They're just grown men getting the job done.
Baker's kick bouncing it around and taking a pretty good Montreal hop down the sidelines before it finally goes out at the 13. 45-yard punt as we join Scott.
All right, Chris, you mentioned this at the top of the telecast. Legend has it the Alouettes drove staples through their shoes to beat the Eskimos in the Ice Bowl, that great Grey Cup game here in 1977. But Bob Geary, longtime manager of the Owls, is here to say that the Alouettes won that game on superior athletic ability. Right, Bob?
Scott, I've been waiting 20 years for this opportunity to tell Kipley that we really did win them by superiority. We had personnel. We beat the hell out of them. We didn't beat them. We beat the hell out of them. And the door was never open because it never could be open.
So our middle linebacker let them down?
He was part of it. I think the score was 44-7 or something like that.
All right, Bob, thanks for your time. Nice to relive that memory.
Thank you, Scott. My pleasure.
Come on, Mr. Gary. Take one of those pills. It was 41-6, and I hope those doors are closed because you won't be able to get out. I'm going to come find you after this game.
Oh, I enjoyed that little blast from the past.
Oh, I bet you did. Every time that you see me, you give that little chikung with the Staples.
You're the only guy that ever brought up the Staples story. I have not seen
any. The nation knew the Staples story. Other than the only people that didn't were actually the Alouettes at that time.
No visual evidence of a shoe with Staples that I've seen yet. If you could provide the evidence, then we might believe it. Nice to be back at the Big O, huh?
I tell you what, isn't it fun? It's nice to be back with you again. Haven't you got another hockey game to go do?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay.
Here's Sean Millington, first down carry, and oh, look at Millington break a couple of tackles. He is alone and got it to the 30. Got 5 more than he probably should have. He just ran right out of the arms of a former teammate, Doug Peterson.
Sean doesn't get nearly the credit that he should because he is the lead blocker in a lot of cases of why a guy like Corey Philpott is able to rush for 22 touchdowns, or rush for the touchdowns that he did last year, 22 in total. But look at the power, look at the strength, just not giving up. Guys trying to arm tackle this guy. You better not arm tackle him. You better get your helmet, your neck, your back, everything into it and drive him backwards, and that's a hard thing to ask for.
2nd and 3, and Allen will go to the air, flares it out there, and there's Matt Clark, and stripped of the football, which goes out of bounds, but Clark should have enough for a first down. Well, Matt Clark much more comfortable inside, started the year on the outside because of an injury, and they felt that he wouldn't have as much of the rough going outside, but back in his familiar slot position.
Good quick move to the outside of Charlie Gordon. Gordon going to give him a little cushion and then react up to it, but not before Matt Clark makes the reception and the first down. This guy's a tremendous athlete. I mean, back in 1991, 79 catches, 1,530 yards, 10 touchdowns, was the best record for a first-year player. Broke an old BC Lion guy by the name of Mervyn Fernandez. Swervin Mervyn, as he likes to be known.
7:40 to go, first half. Damon Allen on first down, guns it out, and did he hang on? That's an incredible catch if he did, and Matt Clark did make the grab. Went up in front of Harold Nash, and I was surprised that when he hit the turf, he was able to keep that ball in his hands.
Well, Nash getting the start in place of Watson, as we said, but just check out the great concentration and skill that this young receiver possesses. Pushes off. Now he's going to come back to the ball. Now he's got to go up high. Stone back to the inside. Loses it one time, but still finds an area to pick it up and bring it down for another reception, and it's just 2nd and about 1.
See how Damon Allen approaches this. Well, he'll stick to the ground, and he'll give it to Sean Millington, and Millington will carry more tacklers to the 52-yard line. Jason Bryant was hanging on that time, and Millington moves the sticks. Well, you know, this league this season, kept more than we've noticed in the last few years, has gotten away from that power Canadian fullback, and Sean Millington is the best of that breed.
Well, he is one of those kind of guys. The thing is, he still possesses